Hey guys, how's it going today? Today we are going to be playing some Puzzle Rush. Now if you don't know what Puzzle Rush is, it is a chess game where they give you chess puzzles and basically you try and solve as many correctly before you get 3 incorrect. My high score, as you can see here, is 43 and we are going to try and beat that. I am going to be explaining my thought process as we work through the problems, so hopefully you can learn a thing or two. And yeah, hope you enjoy the video. Here we go. Alright, so the first couple are pretty easy. So here, this is just going to be a classic back rank mate. We have a check here. He can't escape to either of these squares because of the pawn. He can't escape here because my king is blocking, and he can block with his knight. That's it. Another back rank mate here. Alright, this is going to cause a fork between the king or the queen and the knight, and it's supported by my bishop, which is important. Otherwise, the queen could just take back. So we take there and we take there. So we have the queen and the bishop both lined up on this pawn, which is checkmate. We have another back rank checkmate here. After takes with check, he's going to take back here, only move. And then this is another check. His only move is to block here, and we checkmate him. All right, let's see this one. We have a classic fork. We throw in a check here. He can move, anywhere he wants, basically. Doesn't matter. But we will take his rook after he moves his king. Here we have a classic battery with the queen and bishop, causing checkmate on h7. All right. There is no black piece defending this square, so we just have checkmate. Okay, so this can be a little bit of a tricky one. We need to be careful where we move. But as you can see, the queen is lining up with the king. So I'm looking at this one because after I move here, it's going to be checked, so he's going to have to move the king or block. He could block like this, but still would not change anything. So he can't move here if my knight is on this square because the knight is blocking that square. He can move here, and he can move here. So if he moves here, then this is just checkmate. And if he moves here, then we throw in a check here, and I believe that is still checkmate with these two pieces blocking his escape. So there we go. All right, this is a very quick little checkmate. The king can't escape to this square because the pawn is blocking it. So after check here, he has only one move, and then that's checkmate. We have this checkmate right here. He can't escape to this square because the rook is blocking, and he doesn't have any pieces that are defending this pawn, so that's just checkmate. Here we can do this. So basically his king doesn't really have any escape squares. This rook is pinned, so he can't move up or move anywhere. And after this check, his only move is, well, he can block us here, but then we'll just check him again, and that won't change anything. So he'll only have this move, and this will be checkmate. There we go. All right, here we have an outside pass pawn now. We'll be able to move this, and his king will not be able to make it there, and we'll be able to stop these pawns before they can do anything. All right, this is another classic back rank mate. We check here. His king is forced to move into the corner, and then he has only one defender for this square, and we have 2 attackers. So we can deliver a back rank checkmate. All right, this is a tactic. It's similar to, I would say it's deflection. If you've heard of that term before, deflection is where you basically remove a defender of a piece. And right now, this king is stopping us from going to this square, assuming that the rook wasn't there. And we would like to get access here because if we are able to take this pawn, our pawn is going to be able to promote very easily. So we take the rook. And then we move here, we take the pawn, and we get to promote before he does. With black to move here, this is an interesting one. So this is a 2-move sequence. When we take the queen, his king is going to be here, and his king and rook are going to be on the same file, or rank, I guess. These are files, these are ranks. His king and rook are going to be on the same rank, and if we deliver a check here, he won't be able to move from his spot here and also defend his rook. So we take the queen, and then we win the rook afterwards. Okay, this something that you should always be looking for. There are a couple things, but one of them is, are the queen and another very valuable piece lined up? And in this case, it's the queen and the king. All right, so we have this move, but before you make a move, you always want to make sure, what is their response going to be? Is there a way that they can get out of it? And he has this move, but that's not going to end up changing anything. We're still going to be able to move here and take the queen. You could do the same thing if the queen was lined up with a rook. You could win the rook, but this is going to end up winning the queen. All right, so he throws in this in-between move, but that doesn't matter. We'll just take the pawn. Doesn't matter. And again, there's that move that I said he would have, but we calculated that, the bishop is still going to be defended there, so he's still going to lose the queen. So, all right, here's another interesting one. So another thing that you can look for is my queen or a rook lined up with the king? And if so, can I exploit that? So here, these pawns, well, this one's defended only by the rook. This pawn is not actually defending these squares because it's pinned by my queen, right? He can't move it. So we can look at and see this move and see that he can't take the knight. And we can actually also see that if the knight is here, right, it's going to be attacking these two squares. So that's actually going to be checkmate because the king is going to have nowhere else that he can move. All right. Let's see. This one is a little bit trickier for sure. What I'm trying to figure out is there a way that I can remove the defender of this knight? This knight is very loosely defended. It's only defended by this bishop, right? And if I take the bishop, then it's actually only defended by the queen. The queen is a very bad defender because it can easily be harassed away from the piece that it's defending. And if that's the case, then you can win the piece a lot of times. So looking at this, right, like what happens if I take here? The queen takes. Now, is there a way then that I can remove the queen? And that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Like, let's see. I'm not seeing it right off the bat, so this one might take a minute of figuring things out. I'm also looking at moves like, moving the knight here. That doesn't really accomplish too much. It's not attacking this bishop. So if I move the knight. Like, what if that doesn't work. That doesn't work. It's got to be, I'm convinced that this is the move. I just have to figure out what the follow-up move is. And this is something that doesn't work, trying to block the view of this knight. So here's an interesting tactic. I just figured it out. So we can actually just take this knight, because if you think about it, this bishop, even though it can attack this bishop, it's pinned to the queen. And if this bishop moves to defend this knight, then we'll be able to take his queen, and we'll have won an entire piece. So that's the move, and we win a piece. So those can be very difficult to see. Okay, I'm looking at this move here. So basically this move accomplishes a couple things. It attacks the rook, and it's pinned by this pawn. Like, if this pawn takes, then we can still just take the rook. But I'm looking to see, are there other better moves? And I'm not really seeing any right off the bat here. And if he doesn't take, what does he do? He's got to probably move the rook, right? Moves here, here. Maybe we just move here and say that he can't defend this pawn. Or maybe we take here. Like, what does he do? We're threatening mate then. And if he takes back, then we move here. And he has to move here. And then we have this move. So this is actually the move. This one right here. Because we take, if he takes, right, we deliver check. and he only has this move left. He can't block it at all. And after that move, we have this check, and he has this, and then that's mate. So that's the move. There we go. Okay, this is just checkmate here, I believe. This whole rank is defended by this rook. So if we give him a check here, he can't move here, or here, or here. So that's, and we also have to double check, is this square defended by any of his pieces? No. So let's check. Oh wait, we're pinned. Okay, so that's something I didn't notice. But that's okay. So we have this check, right? Check. And his king moves here. And then we have this check. And he only has bishop takes, and then we have queen takes. There we go. So let's see, check. King moves here, and we make a queen. And we're just up material, very easy. Here, let's see, what is the correct move here? I think the correct move is to push this pawn. And if he takes, we push again, and there's no way he stops it. He can't take there. He doesn't have this move because our bishop defends, right? Because this would be a really dangerous move after this. Like if our bishop didn't defend this square, then he would get to win the rook. So we have to be careful of that. So let's see. After this, he takes, right? Then he has this move coming up, but we just push, right? And if he moves here, then we take. He takes. But then we're promoting, so it doesn't matter. And there we go. We have this move. This is a classic. When you have a knight here and this diagonal is open, he can block here, but then this is like a fork, because, or not a fork, but it's a tactic. This is when this pawn is here, it's pinned because the queen would be attacking the rook, and so he either has to decide, okay, am I gonna give up the pawn and then allow another nasty check, or am I just going to take the loss? So he takes the loss, and we take the rook. This is just checkmate, almost. And sometimes I rush a little too much. Let's just say that. Okay, so we have checkmate. Okay, this one can be kind of hard to see. So obviously, you got to be looking. Back rank mate here. And if we take here, that's check. He has only one defender, and then we can deliver checkmate with the other rook. So, because if you start with this, like that doesn't work, because he can take with the queen, and then you just don't have any follow-up. There we go. All right, let's see. What do we have here? So obviously this is a very weak pawn, and if we can somehow move the king, we can win material. So I'm looking at this. If he takes back with the queen, right? Well, we can take here first, and then we can take here, and then we can take here, right? So we take, he takes back, then we take here, he takes, and then we take here. Okay, cool. So let's see, we are in a little bit of a precarious position. We need to be a little careful with our rook here, right? So we definitely want to keep our rook alive. It's our only chance of winning this position. We would like to take this pawn. We can't at the moment. So what is the move here? Maybe like I don't think it's moving the rook here. Right? That gives him this move and then like this. I mean, we don't want to. Usually the goal is to have a winning position at the end, not just a drawn position, unless you're like completely lost. And we're definitely not completely lost here. So the question becomes, how do we make this a winning position? We have a couple options. We could move the king, but that won't accomplish anything. We'll just end up losing the knight for it. So that's not. It's definitely not a king move. It's not a knight move because if we move the knight, then we lose defense of the rook, and so the rook would fall. So it's definitely not a knight move. So we know we only have 3 pieces to choose from. So we know it is a rook move. The question is, where does the rook go? Does it go somewhere on this rank? Doubtful. And for this reason. The king may not have an escape square here, but if we're just moving it on this rank, we don't really have a way to move the knight and keep this square controlled. So we're probably going to end up keeping this square controlled here, which means that the probable move is this, right? So let's think. We move here. I mean, what does he do? He has this move then. He has this move. And maybe this move. Okay, so let's say we move here, and he moves here, trying to take the knight. We give him a check. Okay. Then he loses his rook. So he can't move the rook there, because, you know, he can't really keep defense of it. You'd have to move here. Oh no, this is just threatening checkmate. Yeah. Okay, easy enough. Okay. So obviously we're in a little bit of a precarious position. Our queen is under attack. And if he is able to move this pawn, we'll be in check. But we have this move. And this is either going to if the king, with this check, he doesn't have any way to block. Okay, that's important. But with this check, if the king goes here, then we have checkmate. And if the king goes here, we have checkmate with this move, followed by this, and takes. So this is the move. There we go. All right, so our queens are facing off, so we have to do something about our queen. Once we take the queen, then what is the move? Okay, takes and then takes. That's almost certainly the sequence of moves, unless there really is something else that is more dangerous. What I'm looking at is trying to displace the defender of this knight, because once the rook is here, this knight is going to be super loosely defended. And so a move like this is going to kick the rook. He can't move sideways to keep defending it, so he's going to have to move away, and we'll be able to win the knight after this move. So we take, pawn here, and we win the knight. Okay, so once again, our queens are facing off, but there's a few other things to take into account in this position. We don't just want to take blindly, because if we just took right now, that would be checkmate. We can't move here because the bishop is defending that square. So we deliver this with check first, okay? And then we actually take this bishop, and so then we're up a bishop, and then we can, you know, defend the back rank after that. So we take, and actually, why would we take the bishop, you ask, when the queen is undefended? Well, we have to take the bishop here, because otherwise it would still be mate. Okay, very important. All right. So we have a little bit of a predicament here. This knight is pinned, first of all. Second of all, it's pinned this way as well. Okay. We would like to do something about this bishop. Don't really have anything we can do about it at the moment, but well, let's see. Let's see what other options we have. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just thinking. So this knight is under attack here, and here, and here. It's defended. It's attacked 3 times. It's defended once, twice. So it's pretty loosely defended, I will admit. Something like this obviously doesn't work because, you know, he just takes. We can't move the knight because it's pinned to the king. So I'm looking at castling here. I don't think that's the best move. It's probably not the best move. I'm looking at this. There's a check here. I'm looking at this as well to attack the rook. But he could just move here and keep all the pressure on. And we still have to figure out what to do with this knight. So there's got to be another way out of this that I am not seeing. Again, I'm not a grandmaster or anything like that. You know, I've played a couple live tournaments, and I do have quite a lot of online experience, but I'm definitely not the best player out there. But I'm just trying to think logically, you know, what are the candidate moves in this position? Like, we could move this knight. We could move the knight like here and lose the queen. We probably don't want to do that. We can move the knight here, lose the queen. There's still nothing going. There's this check, but that does nothing. It's defended. Castling looks like the best move to me. I don't think it is, but it looks like it. Because it gets us out of the pin, right? And after, like, the knight takes, we can still take here. Yeah, but then he has rook takes, and we're just lost, right? So that doesn't really work either. Let's think. If we take here, I mean, that knight is defended as well. This is a tricky position, actually. Like, this move does nothing. Am I missing something? What I would like to do, like, I'm noticing that this rook is undefended, but, you know, this queen, I see it. I don't know why I didn't see this before. We can take the queen, and after takes, right, takes, and then takes, I guess. Takes. And then what? We can move here, and then his bishop has nowhere to go. Right? Or no, it does. Okay, so takes is definitely the move, okay? We know that now. So we take, and he takes our queen. But what's our follow-up move then? Like, what are we going to do? Our knight is still attacked twice and only defended once. So we can move here, attack his bishop. You know, if he attacks, whatever, we can just take. And then his knight is pinned, and then we win a knight. So I think we'll go with... What the frig? How is that not the move? That is insane, man. Okay. I don't know how that wasn't the move. I really don't. I don't know what the move actually was in that position. We can look later, but... So here I'm looking at this because this pawn is pinned. But after check and takes... Oh, he can't take. Because we win the queen then. So we take, right? Yep. Okay, easy. Looking at this. What about this? Here, he takes, and then here, and we're just winning, right? Okay. So we have this. His pawn, or his bishop is hanging here. If we take here, he doesn't have this move. The pawn covers that. He has this move. What is he threatening right now? He's threatening this, and we don't really have anywhere to go. Like, you have to go here, 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 and then he like gets in behind us. And this pawn is very close to promoting, so you got to be careful of that. So after this, right, he has this, and then this, and then this, and then rook here, and he has this. So check here, check here, check here, check, takes. No, that's not it. So after the king is here, check. Oh, but then he can just move back here, right? How about this? Check here, check here. There's not, I can't really check him again with the, oh, I can check here. So let's see, check here, right? And then we go check here. Check. I mean, it's got to be some combination of these moves. It's just figuring out what it is. So here, this has got to be the move, right? Now the question is here, check. Obviously, our knight is defending these squares. Oh, he can't go here. Just kidding, because it's defended by the pawn. So this is checkmate. Okay. This is a back rank mate. He can't get out of it. So we go here. He has no move to stop us just going there. And we checkmate him. Okay, he's got this. We have this move. And he doesn't really have a way to defend this pawn again. Now is moving the queen here a bad move? That is the question. Because then he'll have this check. No, I think it's okay. We move here. We move here, he has this check, then we move here, then he has this. Well, we definitely can't move here, because that's checkmate. We can't move here, because that's checkmate. We could move here, but that'll lead to a checkmate. So we have this move, which he has this, and then we move here. I think it's this move. He has this, but then we have this move. And then he has this, but then we can move here, and he's under attack. So I think it's this. There it is. Okay, gotta be a little careful. Don't want to run into that. That's defended. This is not defended. I'm looking at this too. Like, check, right? Check here, move here. Does that accomplish anything? Not really. What about this? Check, move here. That doesn't work. What about just taking? Well, he has this move then, and we're kind of lost. So what about this move? He could defend like this, but then we could take. So if we move here, right? He could do this though. That's a good move for him. It blocks off the rook from this rank. So I'm thinking this. Check here. Only move. Then we take. And then we're threatening mate. But then he can still do this. And kind of solve all of his problems at once, right? So we check. Here. Check. Here. Check. Is that checkmate? Is this square? All right, check here. All right, check here. Our knight is defending these squares. Check. Or sorry, check here. Then he has this move. Check. There's no more checks after that. Our knight is very loosely defended by this rook. Also a tough one, and I don't want to screw this one up. We're getting close to my record. Check doesn't work, obviously. Could just take, but again, like I say, then he just moves h2 and we're lost. Or are we? Yeah, so, okay. Because I was going to say, because we could like do more checks, but the knight defends that square, so that doesn't work. So it's got to be check, right? I mean, it has to be. So check. Okay. It did not make us go through all of the possible variations there, which is nice. Okay, so here, check is what I'm looking at. Not because it's check, but because then we can win this without our queen being under attack. And then we can follow it up with like this kind of move. Like, I mean, he could go check, takes, and I take, and that's fine. I don't mind that. Check, move here, take, and then move here. Oh, but then I can just take this. So I think this is the move. But let's see, what else does he have? Does he have any like in-between moves? Like check, here, then what? Can he like do anything fancy? It's my move, so I get to take, right? So I take here with check, right? He moves here. Like, am I willing to trade both the queen for both rooks? Yeah, especially considering the fact that after this, right, he's gonna have a super ugly back rank, I think. So check here, takes, takes, takes. It seems pretty rough to me. We could also just take, but then he has mate, so you really don't want to get mated. So you kind of have to do this move, right? Now the question is, what is the move after? Like, he's still threatening mate here. We have to take, and our queen is under attack. So we have to do something about both, right? So we're going to take there, and we're going to take here, and we're going to argue that, you know, the material imbalance is good enough for us. That's what we basically have to say. Okay, so I'm looking at this move. That doesn't really do anything. I'm looking at this move. He has takes, and then takes. Or he just has this. No, he doesn't have that. So takes, takes, takes. Oops. We take here. He takes here. We take. He moves here. Because that's his only move. No, it's not. Takes, takes, takes with check. Then here. Then what? I don't think that's it. So what about this move? Check. He can block here, but then we can just deliver a check. And if he blocks like this, then we have mate. So I think this is the move. There it is. Nice. Okay. So close. 39. I think this is just checkmate, right? Oh no, he has this move, and then yeah, he can't move here. Bishop blocks these squares. So his only move will be here, and then it'll be checkmate. Okay, 40. Very close. Okay, check. I'll be able to take, which is not good. We have this. So let's think. Check. Takes, takes. And then he gets to win the rook. So is that worth it? Probably not. Let's see. Check here. Ugh. I don't like any of my moves, to be quite honest. What about this move? Check. That's not a check. He has this then. That doesn't work. So how about this? Check. He takes. How about this? Check. He moves here. Check. Queen has to block. Takes. King takes. And then takes. Aha! 41. Let's go. Alright, so knight is defending the bishop. This is defended twice, but very ugly. So let's see. If we deliver a check, what does he do? He moves here, and what's our follow-up? Nothing. But then we have this. And then he could just take here. No, he couldn't. So let's see. Check here, here. We're threatening this pawn, so he's got to move here. Check. Now I think we're good. Like, we just take the bishop? I don't know. Oh, no! I don't know what the move was. I couldn't see what the move after this is supposed to be like. What am I supposed to do here? Like maybe here? Oh, maybe it's just maybe it's just from here, right? Maybe it's just this, threatening checkmate. He doesn't really have a good way to stop it. Like he has this, right? So this is probably what it was, I would guess. And let's see if I can actually pass the puzzle. This is what you can always do afterwards to check what you did wrong. So we have check, and then here, yeah. And then we have check, he has this. It's not that, huh? Interesting. Maybe it's this. This? Wow, I don't know what it was. Oh, maybe this, actually. Yeah, because now we're blocking this. And then after, our goal is to get him to move this, and now we can win the bishop. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate, but such is life. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and a comment, and if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would be awesome. And I hope to do some more chess videos here in the future, so hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.